Oh, there it is.
2:20 to go, third quarter. Moore fires, and Kenyon Sadiq, touchdown.
Welcome to the Put On Waivers Media Group, home of the Put On Raiders podcast and the Student Body Right podcast. This is your place for the best breakdowns and the best insight for those who fight on and bleed silver and black. Now, here are your hosts, Dwayne Douglas and Ryan Holmes.
And welcome, everybody, to the glorious episode of the Student Body Right, the USC podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas, along with Coach B, and we are podcasting off the beautiful shores of the Pacific Ocean. Beautiful day out here in Southern California. PORSBR is my Twitter handle, so check me out there. BLUEDVL21 is Coach B. Coach B, how you doing today?
I'm amazing. Outside of the fiasco from Saturday, but we're better.
It is what it is. So USC loses to Oregon. I had a little thing yesterday on the podcast yesterday talking about Oregon and look at Riley. Your thoughts about the game? I think obviously I love Fight on Rusty, but he kind of defended the special teams coach this week, and I'm like, I just can't. That was a tough one for me. I just feel like, in the two biggest games of the year, those special teams touchdowns really kind of shifted the momentum of the Notre Dame and the Oregon game. And then, the kicker for Ryan Sierra, he has been great all year. We should have known early on that he was kind of off in that game because he kicked the opening kickoff after USC scored the first on the opening drive, touchdown that Oregon has given up all year. And he kicked it out of bounds he kicked it out of the sideline. So we should have known he was off by that point. But hard week for special teams, and that's really kind of what that and obviously defense as well. But like in other aspects of the game, but really just that was a really tough pill to swallow for the Trojans as they lose to Oregon again.
Yeah, I mean that I said it when we were talking. Special teams cost us 17 points in that game. That just is what it is. Not that, we can't say out 100%. One of them, we had a guaranteed stop. So that was a guaranteed 7 points off the board. We were getting the ball back for sure. And
it hurts even more that I think it was one of the officials said that the penalty that was called on Desmond Stevens should not have been called a penalty on Desmond Stevens. If you saw that tweet.
Well, I didn't, but listening to the game, I wholeheartedly understood that why they did, because he didn't start in the tackle box. He ran and jumped. So I wholeheartedly understood that he was outside. My thing is, it was just dumb. It was so unnecessary. There was at no point were you ever going to make that. At no point. And it shows how young we are defensively, to not understand the magnitude of the game. It shows,
especially that moment, because even if the field goal is made, that's a win. The game that's a win for your defense to get a stop there. Yeah,
right. And we get off the field. The biggest thing is we get off the field. Right. Defensively, we get off the field. We can't prolong these drives. We're not that good defensively to these teams have prolonged drives against us. So we needed to get off the field at that moment. That was a need. It wasn't, and like to do something like that was incredibly dumb. It was selfish. It was you're trying to be the hero. You're not gonna be the hero. On the flip side, you showed how unathletic you really are. You know what I mean? Like you clipped the lineman. You didn't make it clean. I'd understand if you made it clean and got your hand on the ball. I'm like, okay, well, he tried it. It didn't work, but whatever. But again, you took 3 points. You turned 0 points into 7 points for them.
Yeah.
By putting our defense back out there. So it is what it is. Like I said, it showed how incredibly young we are defensively. We should be, and that's just what it is. We need our linebacking core to become. We need to get back to USC linebackers. That's a fact. It's not our D line. We need to get back to USC linebackers. You know what I mean? with size, height, weight, speed, downhill aggressiveness, and can make the tackle. I love EG. I remember talking to you. I'm like, man, did we put the green dot on EG because he's thinking an awful lot instead of just going and playing.
Yeah.
He was thinking an awful lot instead of running downhill.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about that, and I'm also thinking that, like, part of it is just like, he's really. I think when he gets to the league, he's going to be an edge in a 3.
Yes.
He's not going to be a middle linebacker. So like, and the guy who used the guy who usually, when they do blitz him, he gets to the quarterback. So he has a knack for that, and I think that was kind of underutilized at SC as well. Like, I mean, I think the biggest thing about the defensive line for the Trojans that I didn't really think about it until now, but like they have a bunch of guys who are defensive ends. Like it's a plethora of defensive ends that they have. They don't really have guys in the middle who are just big and nasty who can just eat up blocks. So the linebackers can go eat. They don't have those guys, and I think that's the biggest issue that they have going into the season. I did see Stuart Cravens talked about open the purse strings to go get help in the middle. If you want to be playing on in the playoff, then the quickest way to do that is to get a better defensive and offensive line. So I can't argue with that point. And I think defensive line, especially, because I think if you get better defensive line play, that's going to be the biggest key to winning games, because they're one game off the pace. I mean,
Right.
they're literally one game off the pace, and I think we all knew. Part of us, we knew that how big a loss it was to Illinois. That was, I mean, I don't want to hear about the food poisoning, whatever. Find a way, treat that game as if he was, as if Kamari Ramsey broke an ankle. You find a way to win the game regardless. And look where Illinois is right now. Like you knew that was going to happen. The loss was going to hurt you. They had to go 2-2 in those 4 road games, and they went 1-3, and it cost them a chance to play for the college football playoff.
No, I absolutely, and again in that stretch, we, like you said, we had to at least go 2-2. We did it, but then to come out in Oregon and to me have a chance to win at winning that football game, and you did it. You didn't play good team football. I mean, I'm not so much worried about our offensive line because I feel like the offensive line, with the running backs that we're supposed to have. We handle that Oregon defensive line. You know what I mean? Like we literally, I think we might have gave up 1 sack, maybe, if we did.
They did get some pressure. They did get some pressure, but I know obviously they threw a whole bunch of clips together for Beryl Alexander. Getting some pressure. I guess it was a cool for he slapped Keon Miller in the head. And with no call for whatever, and he thought it was cool, and he also tweeted out "fight on," so it is what it is. Like it doesn't really, all stuff doesn't bother me. Let's just jump right to it. Like the Dan Landing, diatribes that have been posted. I'll say this about it. He is basically, in my mind, he's basically doing what he claimed Deion was doing for the clicks and everything like that. He's basically doing that. Like, I don't know who wrote, honestly, they could have wrote a more respectful, what pregame media guide. I don't know if you saw it, that got everybody upset, where they were just going off on Oregon in it, and it just seemed like it was just kind of cheesy that somebody did that. It is what it is. There could have been more. I've seen those before when I've had press credentials, and I never seen them go in on an opponent like they did. So a lot of it was true, but most times you don't do that. So it is what it is. But when he's yelling and screaming, and everybody's talking about, they murdered. We can talk about the toughness of Dan Landing. We can talk about the toughness of Oregon. How tough were they in the Rose Bowl last year? How tough were they when they played Michael Penix 2 years ago? at some point, like, and listen, I give those dudes credit. They're better than USC right now. I give Notre Dame credit. I give Freeman credit. I give Landing credit. Those are two of our rivals, and they're better than us right now. So I want to preface this by saying, of course, you guys have the edge right now, and have had it for a while. But with that being said, like, the pressure mounts every playoff that goes by where you're not holding the trophy. Just saying.
Well, to me, Oregon is the Clippers. The Clippers. All right, you got a shiny new stadium. You got all the toys. You got all the jerseys. You got all the things, right? Everything but a trophy. Everything but the one thing that matters. You have all of that. So it's like, it reminds me of when the Clippers beat the Lakers and they get all excited. That's what it reminds me of. You can do all of that. And I'm not mad so much at Dan Lanning for talking. That's
his job.
Recruiting point.
Yeah, it's his job. Yeah, it's his job.
I'm not. We didn't beat him. He did what he wanted to do. Like, what's the recruiting point? Right? It was stupid, but I'm not mad at him for it. Right? Because for a long time, nobody pretended like Matt Lyon and Reggie Bush are walking back through the doors. It's been for a while. As a matter of fact, we didn't need Matt Lyon and Reggie Bush to beat you, if you recall. You know what I mean? So let's be fair there. But I'm not mad at him. I'm not. Hey, do you? You won. You supposed to.
You can strut after you win.
You that confident?
100%.
Yeah, I mean, even before the game, if you're that confident, do you? I'm not. Like I said, I'm not mad at it. That's fair. That's fair game. In the heat of competition, whatever. He wasn't disrespectful. He wasn't outside of the realm of coaching. He needed to be the guy who's his rival in recruiting, who has the number one class of 26 coming in. He needed to beat that guy. He has to beat that guy. He has to still. If I still beat him, then I can still put my stronghold and my footprint in California. That's fair.
Yep. 100%.
Not mad at it. What I don't like is this pretentious thing that even the Bear Alexander thing. So you beat up the backup guard. That's what you're gonna do? I'm just asking so we're clear. Matter of fact, you beat up the backup walk-on guard. That's what we're talking about here. Cool. And the thing that only Oregon was hurt. So having one starter in the secondary is what it is, right? It's not hurt. Our left tackle couldn't play, right? Like, we've been down to our third string running back. I mean, it's just these things that all of a sudden you're hurt and nobody else was. As if we didn't lose our center too during the game. You know what I mean? Like, our things happen too. Those are the things that irritate me when we're not truthful about the situation.
We're not. We weren't 100%. Like, I mean, that the story of them saying, and like, it's always gonna sound like sour grapes because USC lost. So, and in the USC podcast, so that's fine. Like, I could deal with all that, but like nobody really, the whole thing was like they're receivers. But we don't. Our two starting safeties are not playing in this game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Wayman Jordan is not playing in this game. Eli Sanders is not playing in this game. Like, you know what I mean? So it was a big. The USC lost a lot, and then and I think USC has to figure out, like, why are they down so many people and in some of these games, like, you know what I mean, and during these seasons as well, because it seems like we lose a lot of people during the season. And I would say this about whenever you mention the blue blood, they really get tight. You know what I mean? So the reason why USC gets and Lincoln Riley gets a lot of criticism when they lose is because USC is a blue blood. Like, did anybody really come after Dan Lanning when they got destroyed by Ohio State last year? Did anybody say, "Oh, clock is ticking"?
Because it was expected.
Clock is ticking, but not like that. Not like that though. Like all the talent he has on that team. Like, you could lose Ohio State, but not like that.
Because Dan Lanning's never been put on a hot seat because that was expected. The thing I tell everybody like this: the West will never be back unless USC is back. I don't care how many teams beat us. I don't care what you do. And if USC is back, people get nervous. Oregon's good, nobody cares. Want to know why? Because everybody expects you to lose. That's why I call them the Clippers. You have all these, but everybody still, when it matters, they expect you to lose.
Yeah.
How is it that Dan Lanning has all this money from Nike? All this money, Oregon has all put all this money into the program. They get all these recruits, yet they don't win. And he's never on the hot seat. Matter of fact, I would argue no coach that has been there has ever been on the hot seat. They just leave.
They leave on their own fruition. Yeah.
Yes. So none of them have won. All of them have highly touted programs, a program that have highly touted rosters. Thus, nobody cares when they lose. Want to know why? Because nobody cares about or it doesn't matter if Oregon's good. It doesn't matter. If they go away, they won't care. If USC ain't good, the West ain't good. That's what it is. Sorry for people who don't understand that, but that's what it is. Because Dan Lanning's had plenty of talented teams that should have went further than what they did.
Yeah. And you look at the NFL. You look at the NFL rosters, and their teams are loaded with ducks on it, and it's like, I mean, those are games where they should have. They really should have. Season where they should have won. So like it is what it is. Like I said, we are like we have to see what USC does in the transfer portal. Now it's only one portal, so I mean it's time that this is where the portal is, where it's almost like NFL free agency. That this is where we expect. This is basically what Chad got paid for. Chad came here and Chad got paid for this moment here to kind of fill in those gaps until that recruiting class is ready to go. So we'll see what happens as far as that goes. But I think 2009 was the first year really where they Oregon started their run. That was Chip Kelly for those 4 years, and then Halford. They had Willie Taggart for a year, and then Mario Cristobal came in, and then after Cristobal came in, then you got Dan Lanning as well. So you got Dan Lanning. So Dan Lanning, obviously this is year 4. It goes by quick. I say it's year 4 already. It's year 4. It's year 4 for Lincoln. So it's year 4. So we got to see what happens with him and take it from there. But for USC, it is fair. I think it's fair to say or have the conversation that while Lincoln is a good coach, I think nobody can say he's a bad coach. He's a good coach. Is he the coach to take USC to that next level? We got to see. Like it's fair to have that conversation. I don't think anybody could be mad about having that kind of conversation.
No, I don't think it's fair. I think it's fair all the way around. I think that he's gonna have to get. I think offensively, he's starting to get it right. I think he's gonna have to figure out defensively. He's gonna have to find something defensively in a coordinator position. And you know what's funny? I'm not sure that we are necessarily bad coordinating. I don't know if we have the pieces to do what even anybody would want to do. Again, we're under losing Coach Ince is showing up more now during this back half of the season than we thought. At least I thought, I would say, it would before. We lost true linebackers in the portal. Guys who I thought true linebackers that we were recruiting, guys who I thought would probably be day one starters. Honestly, like losing that piece, because I don't think Desmond Stevens is going to be a day one starter. Even if he was out of there by game 3. So I don't think Desmond Stevens is very bright at the position.
I think the first question I would ask, the defensive staff would be like, bro, maybe it's just, maybe it's a lineage or whatever, but what the hell? How can we see more Urlacher? Honestly, Urlacher he's a guy who makes things happen. Obviously, if you have a bigger sample size, maybe we'd find out why he wasn't playing as much. But let me find out what that is first, because he was a short tackler. He chased down plays. The interception was him, like, he dropped in coverage perfectly, tipped that ball up in the air, and squeezed it and ran it back for a pretty good gain. Thoughts about that, because I think he definitely could have been on the field more.
Well, I think Kennedy's a box safety, is what I think he is, and I think that we need a true ball hawking guy to be able to play him in so many roles, right? I'm trying to think who you take off the field if you put him in the game, if we have both of our safeties in the game, right? Because Fitzgerald can be in the box and he can drop back, right? And have good instincts and not be lost in space. I think that's Kennedy's problem. He's a true box safety. He's going to come down. I think he's his dad. At the end of the day, he's his dad. Remember, his dad was a safety who turned linebacker in the league. I think he's his dad who's a true box guy. And he would pair well with a Kalen Bullock. Well, if we only had Kalen, he would pair well because Kalen's a ball hawk. So everything underneath, everything underneath belongs to. Or if we didn't have Fitzgerald, I think that's when Kennedy pairs well, because now you have Kamari who can just be a ball hawk and have somebody play underneath. You know what I mean? It was kind of like who do we have last year? I'm thinking of the other safety, not Masquerade and Arnold's brother. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. The other brother, but who was other safety who came? We need that. I think that's the problem. It's like when we have both of our safeties back, where do you put him at? Do you put him in the nickel and play him up front as in the backer up in the box? Do you? Because he can't. He's not a great guy.
Because they play what's his face? What is his name again? Christian Pierce as that third safety when they play. He's a third safety when they play when they play three safeties back there.
Right.
So
right. But remember, when they'll bring one of either Fitzgerald down in the box. Most of the time it's Fitzgerald or Kamari, because Fitzgerald's a more sure tackler. But again, Pierce is a ball hawk, right? So I think you also can play Fitzgerald a lot in the more man coverage and be more physical at the point of attack. Then you can if you're gonna bring, I think you bring Kennedy in is if you're gonna be more prepared to stop the run. That's when you put him in the box as a box safety. You know what I mean? So you're asking him to just go get.
Could use that early, or use that some early downs. I just feel like they just don't play. I just feel like they don't play. Like there is some absolute, especially when you're playing Oregon and some of these downs, like they would hold them on first down, and then on second down, it's like, bro, this is an obvious rundown. They're not trying to throw 3-4 times in a row with Dante Moore. Dante Moore's success is because he's still a young quarterback, whatever. They want to run the football and then just throw timely plays for him. That's Willie Stein's key. So why are you not just you should be ganging up on the run, right. and instead of giving up 7 yards, 8 yards a pop, and then it's third and 2 is just right where they want to be.
And it felt like they had Lynn's number. They understood exactly what he was going to do. If they got stopped in third and in first down, we were going to back off and play pass, right, and play a soft coverage, and then they were able to run the ball. And that's what it felt like they were going to do. They felt like when they were getting you the yards, that's what they were doing.
It's been tough, man. I mean, it's not really. I just that right there kind of bothers me, as far as that goes. I mean, they really, like I said, this whole defensive line thing, they got to figure out. They have. I just want people to. I want. Obviously, you can go out there and get whoever I want to get people who can just hold their own up front. As far as the tackles go, we got to get some road graders. I don't care. Go out to go pay somebody from Iowa, Nebraska. Get some two big boys out there. You know what I'm saying? Because they have to. I mean, that's where that's what this defense is lacking. Is just ability just to be competitive against the run. Like the game against Illinois was probably the worst. That's not Kamari Ramsey giving up 8 yards a pop in that game. You know what I'm saying? So we can talk about Kamari Ramsey till the cows come home. That there's no way. There's no absolute way. That's brutal. on a good note, I would say numbers looks like Tudor Hines is going to be a guy. He is not coming here to play around. I mean, he's ready. He's ready to take that mantle. That's going to be passed down from Makai Lemon when he goes to the NFL next year. So that'll be good to see. It'd be interesting to see what Jacoby does. I think I said Jacoby's the whole fight on the sideline thing, like, that was tough to watch because it was a big point in the game and everything like that. It's just like, we'll see I think NFL scouts see things like that, and you got to worry about maturity there as far as that goes. So that's an issue for the Trojans as well. So we have to see that in this ball game. And obviously all the shuffling in the offensive line, you don't really want to shuffle in the offensive line when you're playing Oregon. You want to be able to have your guys there, and they weren't able to have their guys. I mean, it's really that simple. They weren't able to have their guys in this game at all. So it was kind of frustrating to see what happened there as far as that goes. Lost Coach B, so we're gonna continue on with the show. I think enough about Oregon as far as that goes. Like I said, Oregon's biggest battle is themselves, and they have to be able to go ahead and kind of get through this moment here. They have to get through this situation here where they have to make a run. If not make a run, go out there and win. Oregon has to go out there and win the championship. For this to be a successful season. This is year 4, still early, and I think if Oregon gets that, then they'll be good to go. But like right now, they have to go ahead and do that and prove themselves. Obviously, for USC right now, they have to finish the job now and go 9-3. They can't mess around and lose this week. Obviously, everybody's excited. It's always excited to see USC play UCLA. What are your thoughts about that one?
I'm not excited. Honestly, I don't necessarily even care. I feel like I'm tired of this being a consolation prize to have to get up for. I'm gonna be honest. Like, make this game mean something. Not that it doesn't mean anything, but I'm saying, like, let's put the pressure on, like, yo, we need to make sure we win this game so we're in the playoff. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the season, at some point, this game has to mean more than what we are doing right now. And this has to. It absolutely has to. On a side note about that, I don't like the fact that if you looked at next year's schedule, they're moving to like the middle of the season.
Well, the UCLA game?
I don't like that. Yeah, I don't like that at all.
Yeah. I don't really. I mean, I'm not even. I mean, as long as to me, like that schedule needs to just make sure Notre Dame's not on it. I just don't. I mean,
right now Notre Dame's right now at the end of the schedule.
They're what?
Right now Notre Dame's at the end of the schedule, end of the season.
We don't. I mean, but I don't think we know. I don't think we know what's going on with that game yet, right? That's not tomorrow. The next year is not even guaranteed.
No, it's not. It's not.
It's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed. And like to me, I would like I said, like, do what you want. I'm not playing that game. I'm not playing that game. That schedule is brutal enough. They don't want to join a conference. They got their whole thing to figure it out. I mean, like, you want to next year, like, if they battle through that entire season next year and get to 9-2, and Notre Dame has their 7 straight cupcake games. That's what you want. I mean, you want that game more than I do. If we didn't have that game, like, that's a conversation too. If that game was Stanford or Cal, we're in the playoff.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're not going to.
I agree with you there. I agree.
Yeah, we're not one of those schools where, like, they're looking at schedules. They're saying a 10-2 USC team, they're in the playoff. Like, you know what I mean? 10-2 Alabama, they're in the playoff. Like, they're not gonna do what they did to, like, Lane Kiffin last year. Like, didn't Lane Kiffin go 10-2 last year with Ole Miss? But they had the bad loss to Kentucky, and they took him out. So, I mean, Yeah, they kept him out. So it is what it is. So I mean, that's how I look at it. I'm not gonna go crazy about it, but I'm fine with it. I think they were, like I said, they were one game off the pace. I'm tired of being one game off the pace. They were one game off the pace in year one. This team was definitely good enough to do it. And they just it was the little things, special teams wise, defensively. I don't want to keep hearing about he don't have enough. That's not what y'all was saying at the beginning of the season. Y'all was saying that this pass rush, that we're gonna get to the quarterback more, and y'all didn't do that. So like that's on y'all. And I mean, and maybe we should not hire friends to be linebacker coaches. Maybe we should hire young, up and coming, thirsty, hungry guys. Like the guy they picked up from Colorado State, the tight. I saw growth in the tight ends, dramatic growth in Lake McCree, and Walker
Absolutely.
Lyons. They blocked well on all 22. They caught the ball well when they were asked upon. So like I really appreciate that part of it. I can see the growth there. I can see growth. I can see growth in other spots. The running back coach they picked up from K-State. If he's not there, does King Miller have the year that he had? Like he prepared King Miller to make sure, hey, be ready because your time might come today. King Miller could have easily said, man, Sanders and this dude and Wayman Jordan got to get hurt for me to play. I'm good, bro. I'm good till next year.
Right.
And he did, and he didn't. He was prepared to play. And look at the season that he had.
No, I hardly agree, and that's the thing. Like, right, I think that we need to go after somebody who's going to bring in the proper people up front. And I'm not sure that we're bad in the D line so much as we're just terrible at linebacker. Because it's not like the D linemen aren't. When I look at things and I'm looking at these holes that are being created, more often than not, our linebackers are out of position. These big runs are being caused because our linebackers are out of position, not because we're not. The D line ain't fulfilling their gaps or creating a double team, or we're just out of position and allowing ourselves to be blocked at the second level and not getting off blocks. I mean, you're absolutely right. Eric Gentry is a DN. Fact. He's Alden Smith. That's who he is. Put him in the 3-4.
He's a speed rusher.
Yeah. Well, put him in a 3-4. Let him be a 3-4 outside backer.
Yeah.
Alden Smith.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
That's who he is.
I mean, obviously, weight program needs to be. I mean, him dropping in coverage would be something. Would be something that'd be cool as well. But yeah, they have to do something. They got to do something there. They got. But to me, I think Lucas is going to get drafted pretty high. The scouts really like him. But I do like the collection of young people they got coming in. Some of the recruits, we got to see what if they can develop Cordova and people like that. Stewart's going to be a guy that's going to be somebody to reckon with as well. So that'll be something to see coming up.
Right. No, I hardly agree.
All right. So anything else before we head out?
No, I'm good.
I'm good.
Are you going to the game this weekend? No,
I don't think so. But I do think for USC, what they need to do is make it a party. Like we shouldn't be sitting around sweating the fourth quarter in this game. Go out there and make it a party, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't mess around. Make it a party. Make it fun for the fans. It was an entertaining season. They did play despite the tag of being physical. Or not being physical, they did play physical in a lot of these games against Iowa, against Michigan. But until they win that 10th game and get to the playoff, it's always going to be a thing for them. So we'll have to see. So
it won't. Yeah, it won't matter.
It won't matter.
Yeah, sure.
All right, folks. Quick show for us right now because I gotta head out. Coach B, I will. Hold on, I got it. Let's see, okay. So this is really just a disappointing year. We could be a disappointing time of year because we just are sick of this moment. I just want to take a peek at that schedule for next year real quick before we go. Hold on, let me just take a peek at that schedule for next year. 2026 USC Frozen schedule for football. Let's see here. Okay, so right now, I think number one thing I would not do is I would have not have scheduled Fresno State. I would not have. That's just me. Because I think I want, like, there's not a cupcake. I need a cupcake game, and like they're actually just a team that's gonna hang around and be around for a little bit because the USC is still in flux. As far as like next year and you got to. So I would not personally. I am not a fan of that part of it. We got to see what the Hoosiers do to replace all their seniors and their quarterback. So but still. Watching Indiana on tape against Oregon, they were so damn disciplined, bro. Like Kurt Signetti is the guy. Like he is that dude. And then you have a new coach in Penn State. Then you got obviously you got the games that you got to have because you should have these games. You got to have Fresno. You got to have. I think all the games I just mentioned, obviously those games they have to win. And then you got USC, you got UCLA and Rutgers. Maryland revenge should be there. Always tough to go play Wisconsin, and then you have the trio of those. I think it's the trio games here where you got the home games against Ohio State, against Oregon, against Washington. I think Washington's always going to be good head coach. They'll be good next year as well. And then you got Notre Dame. Again, I am not and then this is a whole thing about going 2-2 again. Like, can they go 2-2 in those 4 games? You know what I mean? Or if not 3-1, like, you know what I'm saying? So can they do that? And I think another question I have for you real quick is, are you ready for Hugh Longstreet? What do you do if he wants to, if Bible wants to come back, do you tell him to, hey, listen, we're going to go in Longstreet, go transfer?
I might have to. As much as I'm not sure because we haven't seen the kid throw the ball at all. We might have to. I just don't know what I think Jaden is I think he's reached his peak. I think he's just reached his peak, man. Like I don't think like would you not wanting to run the ball, you've reached your peak. Your dynamic ability is gone. Like you taking away from yourself. And I hate the answer that he gave.
He's muting it himself. Did somebody ask him how come he doesn't run that much?
Yeah, what he said? I think it was prior to the Iowa game. They asked him why you're not running the ball. He said, I just want to get the ball in the hands of my playmakers. Okay, but how much make the game easier for you? Make the game easier for you.
Yeah. You're a playmaker. You're a playmaker yourself. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, yeah, I agree.
So that bothered me. So I'm just looking at him like, bro, like you're capping yourself at this point. Yeah. It's on you. So if you don't want to do that piece, because you remember I told you that's the piece that we needed going back to last year to make this team better. Because that's the piece that's the dynamic that Caleb gave us to make defenses have to pay attention.
And even and there are times
why Lincoln has to set him down in a room and put on Caleb tape.
Yeah, I mean, there's times where Caleb would go ahead and run. I mean, we're run even when there was people open because the hole was so big and they're in man coverage and their backs are to him. So like, yeah. I mean, it's interesting. Interesting. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, I like I said, he's gonna know. He's gonna know more than us because he's seen both of those guys throw in practice. But like, it's gonna be he kind of has to. Yeah, he kind of has to. He kind of has to ask him to bounce because can you risk losing Hussein and because they it's weird because he was going to Texas A&M which means he would have sat behind Marcel Reed for 2 years anyway. So you could have that you could have that argument, but I'm not sure if he's gonna. I know he loves USC, but I don't know. I'm not sure if he's gonna actually like sit for 2 years. He still has 4 years of eligibility though, because he didn't burn it this year.
I think he might. I think he might. I don't see why he wouldn't. But I don't. My thing is, while I don't see why he wouldn't, I don't know if I'm. Like I said, I think Miami's reached the ceiling. So what more can I get out of him?
If he doesn't run, if he's not going to run and be a runner, at least 4 or 5 times a game, then it's like, it's tough. I can't argue that point. He needs to do that.
Yeah.
He needs to do that. I mean, because then now if you look at that schedule with him in there, with an experienced him, and if he's going to run the football, then like everybody like Indiana they're looking for a new quarterback. Penn State looking for a new quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Does it matter at Rutgers? Does it really matter at USC? I mean, Nico's gone. Nico might go to the fucking draft. Who knows? Saying will be in year 2. We don't know about Moore. It looks like the Huskies will have a quarterback. The same quarterback, and let's be honest. While they're a good defensive team, they're basically the Iowa of this year's schedule in Wisconsin. You know what I mean? So it is what it is there. So I mean, but I mean, until they start, I mean, obviously, still they have not been a good road team. So that's going to be always going to be the thing that's over their head. They got to find a way to win road games. So I will say it'd be nice because like next year's UCLA game will be at SoFi. So that'd be interesting to see how that dynamic will play out for folks as well too. So we'll see. But all right, folks, the rivalry game, the LA game, USC, UCLA. Obviously, rivalry week is kind of a subdued rivalry week because we thought we would be playing for something much bigger, but we'll have to see what happens next time. All right, take care, Coach B. Fight on.
All right, sir. Fight on.